Up with KREM begins now.
Right now on Up with KREM, students are returning to in-person classes on college campuses all across our region, some for the first time in over a year. We'll have team coverage all morning long.
Hey, good morning. We are live on the Palouse this morning talking about everything back to school. We are on Pullman's campus at Washington State University talking about all the changes for this upcoming school year.
And masks are back. Starting today, masks will be required indoors regardless of your vaccination status.
And of course, we're going to take you outside, talk some cooler temperatures as we kick off the day, and a warm up on the way.
Well, we have some breaking news to start off this morning. The FDA just fully approved Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine. Now, the vaccine is now fully authorized for people ages 16 and up. The other two COVID-19 vaccines, Moderna as well as Johnson & Johnson, have emergency use authorization from the FDA. The company's CEO says in a statement that he hopes that the decision will help increase confidence in the vaccine. Now, the vaccine made by Pfizer now carries the strongest endorsement from the Food and Drug Administration. More than 200 million Pfizer doses have already been administered in the U.S., and hundreds of millions more have been administered worldwide. Well, thanks so much for joining us on Up with KREM. I'm Channing Curtis. College students all over the country are getting ready to head back to the classroom today. Now, the Up with KREM team is on campus today, giving you the very latest information about what students and parents can expect from the upcoming school year. Nicole Hernandez is on the campus at EWU in Cheney with the very latest on how they're handling students' return. Jeremy Legou is here in the Weather Center with the forecast that students can expect on their walk to class this morning. And Tim Pham is live in Pullman, and he'll be also headed out to Moscow this morning, talking about the changes WSU and U of I are making to their classrooms this upcoming semester. Tim, how are things out there in Pullman?
Oh, Channing, it is so great to be back here in Pullman. This is my alma mater, of course, so I'm wearing my Coug swag this morning. So glad to be back on campus along with all the other students. Great to see students making their way to classes. I never took an early morning class like this, so props to them. Students already heading to the rec center also as well. But just a very exciting day here in Pullman. When you think about a lot of students haven't been back to the classroom in a year and a half for some students, this is a really big day. You know, a lot of them really miss that in-person learning experience and that engagement being together. And so, yeah, a lot of students very happy to be back here. So, of course, this past spring, only a small number of students were allowed to return to in-person classes, but those were a lot of like special in-person classes that kind of had an exemption. Today, most students will be returning back for the first time in a year, and there will be some new regulations in place to keep students safe, of course, and let's talk about them. One of the biggest one, obviously, is the mask mandate, but that's not just for students here on campus. That applies to everyone in Washington, that mandate beginning today in indoor public spaces. And on campus, that means campus buildings like the rec center, student union buildings, and then also students will need to wear masks in class as well. But there are some exceptions for vaccinated people. They are when someone is working alone with no face-to-face interactions, and vaccinated instructors can remove their masks when teaching if they can maintain social distancing. So we did speak to some students about how they felt about masks returning, and generally they were in support of the mandate and say they really just want to protect their fellow Cougs.
I think with like the Delta variant getting really predominant in this area, I think it could be really important to enforce the mask mandate.
Of course, I'd like for it to get to the point where we don't have to wear them anymore if people just follow the rules, but it's okay.
So let's talk about students and staff on campus will also be required to show proof of vaccination. Right now, students have until September 10th to be fully vaccinated, and then students living on campus already had to actually be vaccinated by August 6th. There were some exemptions for medical and religious or personal reasons, but of course this all changing with the breaking news this morning of the FDA approving the Pfizer vaccine. So yeah, this is really big news here this morning in Pullman, and I'm joined now this morning by Phil Weiler. So glad to have you here with us, spokesperson for WSU. First of all, go Cougs!
Go Cougs!
Yeah, we're back on campus.
We have been waiting a year and a half for this day. We've spent all summer preparing to make sure we can keep this campus safe for our students, and to make sure they have a great experience. As you said, we have students who are sophomores, they're in their second year and they have never set foot on this campus. So we had a great event for them on Friday night to welcome them for the first time to their home that they hadn't seen. So this is going to be a really special year.
It really is going to be a special year. A very exciting first day for not just the incoming freshmen, but for the continuing students also. But Phil, I do want to jump right into, obviously this is new information this morning with the Pfizer FDA approval. WSU was one of the first schools to mandate the vaccine for students. Talk about what this means now. There will be no more exemptions, right? Now that
there'll be no personal exemptions. So in April, Washington State University was the first public university to require students to be vaccinated. At the time, it was uncharted territory as far as the legal issues were concerned. So in addition to the routine medical and religious exemptions, we added what we call the personal exemption. If somebody just said, I'm not comfortable with it. But we've stated this summer that as soon as the first vaccine received full approval from the FDA, and as you said, that happened just this morning, we're going to be doing away with that personal exemption. So those students will need to get vaccinated. The great news is more than 90% of our students so far are fully vaccinated, which blows us away. We are really proud of the students for doing the right thing and getting the vaccine. As you mentioned, they have until September 10th to complete that process. There's still some folks who have not yet declared their status or proved their status, but we do have vaccine clinics scheduled for the next couple weeks so that if there are people who haven't had a chance to get the jab yet, they can do it now.
Yeah, and so Phil, you said it was just the first one to get approved, and then it would get rid of that personal one. So it doesn't matter about Moderna or Pfizer. It's just, just Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah, as long as the first one received the full FDA approval, that was when the personal exemption was going to go away. So effective today, that's the case.
Great. Okay, so I also want to ask you about what other changes are students going to expect? Some returning students, this might be their first time back on campus. What's going to be different this year?
Yeah, we actually spent the summer putting together a 12-point plan to make sure we can keep the campus safe. So it's vaccinations, it's mask mandates, it is quarantine, it's contact tracing, it's personal protective gear, it's sanitation. We've got a lot of work that we've done, and I have to say, I've just really been amazed at how adaptive students have been. Last week was Week of Welcome, so students were returning last week, and they have taken the changes in stride. I think they want to get in the classroom, they want to have that face-to-face interaction that they've been missing, and they're willing to do those really small steps. When it comes down to it, wearing a mask and getting a free vaccine is a small step to take in order to make sure everyone is safe.
That's right. We have to wrap up here, but I want to ask you, what about sporting events and football? What will that experience be like? Yeah,
at this point, we believe we're going to be able to have everybody in the stadium for both indoor and outdoor events. That said, the pandemic has thrown us curveballs in the past. We are going to follow every requirement at the local, state, federal level. So if things change, we'll be changing with them. But at this point, we're looking forward to athletic competitions.
All right, let's go Cougs. I love it. All right, Phil, thanks so much for being with us this morning. We really appreciate it. And so coming up in our next hour, we're going to be taking you across the state line, just a quick drive over to Moscow for the University of Idaho's first day of school as well. So we'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks, Tim. Now, those aren't the only students making the big return to campus today. Eastern Washington students are also returning to campuses in Spokane and Cheney. Our Nicole Hernandez is joining us live now from the Cheney campus. Good morning, Nicole.
Hey, good morning. Yes, here at EWU, students are waking up and getting ready to go to school, go to class in person. Super exciting. Now, not everybody is starting here at Cheney, here in the Cheney location. Most students actually aren't starting, but over in the Spokane downtown location, they are going to be starting most of the classes over there. So there's a total of 12,000 students enrolled to take classes this semester here at EWU. That is between the Cheney school, the Spokane school, and online as well. The requirement for those students, though, is to be vaccinated. So the president told us that right now 3,000 students have sent in their vaccination status. Of those 3,000 students, only 140 have asked for an exemption at this point. So that's 95% of their student body so far that is fully vaccinated. Now, of course, getting ready to go back to school after a full year of teaching online has been difficult for the school. It has been a challenge, but the president says that they are super excited to finally get back in person.
The community, the students, everyone is incredibly excited. It's been a long time since this campus has really been filled with people, with vibrancy, with energy, and so we're really excited to have everybody back on campus. I was talking to some students the other day who said, whatever we have to do. You want us to wear a mask, we'll wear a mask. Whatever it takes, just please get us back on campus. And so that's what we're going to try to do.
Now, like I mentioned, the Spokane location is where most students are heading back to class today. They do mostly health services on that campus. It's a commuter school, so no one will actually be living there on campus. It won't be as hard for them to get back to in-person because they're all used to wearing PPE and all those cleaning procedures because of them being in that health sciences department. But over here in Cheney, they have one more month to prepare for students to start this the quarter program here at EWU in Cheney, and in order to do that, they're doing a lot, of course, but one of the biggest things they're doing is they're opening a new residence hall because so many students were interested in that in-person living on campus experience. And like I mentioned, those are all starting at the end of September. Live in Cheney, I'm Nicole Hernandez.
Now, for more information on colleges in your area, you can text the word college to 509-448-2000. We'll send you the very latest information with a link right to your phone.
Well, good morning, and on this Monday, we start things out a little bit chilly. You saw both Tim and Nicole out there in their coats, and those coats are a sign of those temperatures, and those temperatures are trending a bit cooler, and it is a bit gusty. So right now, we're in the mid-40s in Spokane, Coeur d'Alene, and now up to 50 in Sandpoint, mid-50s in Wenatchee and Moses Lake, and our temperatures are going to rise as the wind kind of dies down throughout the day. We've seen a big drop here in just the past couple of hours, and that's a good sign as things start to calm down. But notice the shift in wind direction that arrives as we get a little bit of a disturbance that sweeps the region. That little wave of energy that moves through arrives later on today, brings some spotty showers to northeastern Washington. Really, that's about it. Notice it's just a couple of cells this afternoon. None of those really make it too far to the south, and most of those stay in higher elevations. For the rest of us, it's this. It's temps on the rise. We go from the 40s up to near 70 later on this afternoon. It's going to be warm and sunny and downright beautiful on this Monday.
Well, masks are officially back. The state's indoor mask mandate goes back into effect today. Now, the mandate returns as COVID-19 cases as well as hospitalizations surge to new highs due to the Delta variant.
Fully vaccinated individuals will once again be included in the statewide mask requirement to wear masks when they are in public indoor settings.
Anyone ages 5 and up must wear a mask in stores, restaurants, and other public indoor spaces, regardless of your vaccination status. The State Department of Health is also recommending but not requiring that people wear a mask in crowded outdoor settings like concerts, fairs, and farmers markets. The FDA is advising against using a veterinary drug to treat COVID-19. Why they had to issue the warning in the first place.